Robert Plank Show, episode 74. The penny test, the login test, and the opt-in test. Does your internet business get a passing score? Welcome back to the Robert Plank Show. This is the Internet Marketing Radio Podcast, where we talk about all kinds of cool and fun stuff. And it's all about getting your website set up, finished, complete, and making money so you can repeat what's working for you and stop doing those things that are just time wasters or even money sucks for you. And what I want you to do is to have your entire income machine set up. What's that? It means you own a .com name of some kind with your name or your brand on it. That means that somewhere at that .com address, such as example.com/free, if I go to that web address of yours, there's a simple web page where there's a headline and a few bullet points and a box for me to fill in and enter my first name and email address. The income machine also means that at the .com level of your site, so for example at incomemachine.com, there's a place where I can buy something from you. And I don't really care if it's a short or a long web page, you're selling something for $10 or $100 a month, there's some button where I can click and I can buy coaching or maybe a membership site or maybe some videos or a report. I can click and buy something, anything from you. Now, an income machine also means that once I click and buy from you, then there's a place where I can download the thing that I bought. An income machine means that if I go to example.com/blog, there's at least one or two blog posts that have some kind of free information on there, like videos or articles that lead me back to a place where I can opt into you. An income machine means that you have some kind of traffic coming into your site. And if you don't have those things, don't worry, don't feel bad. Just go to incomemachine.com and join our program, and I'll show you and I'll give you the tools to do literally everything we talked about to have a whole complete system that's up and running and working for you, because you shouldn't feel bad if you are missing things or if you've heard about these different things like, oh yeah, I know that I should have a form of some kind where someone can enter in their name and email address, and I know that I should have some kind of an automatic follow-up system. We call that an email autoresponder that keeps talking to your prospects every few days until they buy something or at least participate with you more. And the reason why I do things like putting out blog posts, putting out podcast episodes, doing joint ventures with other people, having this thing called an affiliate program, that's all traffic to lead back into your income machine. And so we're going to talk about 3 easy tests. We're going to talk about 3 big tests, and I'll throw in 10 bonus tests just for you, just because you're just that special and you're an awesome person for tuning in and listening today. We're going to talk about the penny test, login test, and the opt-in test. And I want to give credit where credit is due. The marketer of the week is my very first mentor. Her name was Teresa King. And she's still around on Facebook, but I don't really see any of her websites online. But to give you an idea of how long she's been around with internet marketing, she had a membership site online in 1997 and another one online in 1999. I mean, you probably weren't even doing internet marketing way back then, and you didn't even know that people had these things called monthly membership sites even way back then. And so I came across Teresa King when I was still I think I was still in high school actually, and I was learning how to program computer stuff, and I was trying to sell different PHP scripts that would do different things. And she said, well, you're trying to sell these little dinky little tiny things that maybe make a headline get animated or maybe make a pop-up box appear. And she said, well, why don't you kind of package those together and sell 7 or 10 different solutions all in one package, and that way you have like this huge monster product. I thought, well, that's awesome. And then right around the time that she told me to do this and I was putting together a product, a couple different marketers put out these things called ebooks, like a 50-page, 100-page PDF report, and this guy was selling a PDF report for $99. I was like, whoa, someone's selling written words, written material for $100. And suddenly I was second guessing myself, and suddenly I said, I have to pile in all kinds of crazy stuff to justify selling something for $100. And she said, no, don't do that. She said, whatever you got packaged up, how about you put it out there for $15 for a couple weeks, and then you bump it up to $30. So that way the pressure's off. That way you just put something out there that's worth, 15, 20, $30 and has just, 7 or 10 different PHP scripts or plugins that you could easily justify someone paying $100 or $200 if they bought them all separately, but now they're getting a huge killer deal because they're getting it from you. And so over and over again, when that came time for me to overthink my product, overthink my big long sales letter, she said, no, just keep it simple. Just make a simple sales letter with a couple of bullet points. And she had all these cool ideas like this product called boxedscripts.com. And our first product together was called Redirect Pro, which was you could call it a download delivery plugin. Somebody pays you money using PayPal, and it protects the download link and forwards you to a download page, basically a crude membership software. But that's all we had back then. Back then, if you wanted to have a membership site, it would cost you about $4,000. And we said, well, here's a simpler solution that's a little bit cheaper. It's about $15 or $30, where now you take money and it sends someone to a protected type of download page. So keeping it simple, there's so much to be said about keeping it simple. And so many times if we get bogged down or wonder what the heck happened to the good old days, usually it's because you just forgot how to keep things simple. So maybe you need to get back to that. Now, John C. Maxwell's 7 steps to success are the following. Number 1, make a commitment to grow daily. Number 2, value the process more than the events. Number 3, don't wait for inspiration. 4, be willing to sacrifice pleasure for opportunity. 5, dream big. 6, plan your priorities. And 7, give up to go up. That's from Mr. John C. Maxwell. Now we're going to talk about the penny login and opt-in tests. And what I've been catching you up on, just to make sure we're all on the same page, is that you need to have something to buy. I mean, pretty simple. And I mean, if you have a course you're selling on a site like Udemy, or if you have a 99-cent Kindle book, that's okay. But I'm talking about have something real to sell. Have something that you're selling for $20, $100, $1,000. Just because, I mean, think about how many 99-cent sales you're going to have to earn from Amazon, and that's before they take their cut, to equal just a single $500 or $1,000 sale. If you want to make $10,000 this week, which sounds easier? Making a bunch of $1 or $10 sales, or making $10,000 sales? Well, the $1,000 sales might come in a little bit slowly, but it seems more doable to just get over the hump of those 10 sales. And so what we like to do is use a tool called papertemplate.com. It's what I've been using for well over a decade to create what are called landing pages or sales letters. You have a headline for a thing that captures someone's attention, explains the problem that brought you to the page. So maybe the problem is that they want to know real estate, can't figure it out. Now the solution is the name of your product, and then you break down the pieces of it, and at the bottom you have a button for someone to click and buy. Now in today's day and age, you've probably clicked and bought something online. Maybe it was just on Amazon, but the way that a lot of us take payments outside of places like Amazon is we have what's called a PayPal button. Use a service called PayPal, and in Income Machine will show you how to set the button up in such a way that you don't even have to be awake or at the computer or at home or anything to have a business that runs on its own. You create a thing called a payment button, and you place it on a web page. Someone clicks the button, and they agree to pay a certain amount of money. They agree to pay $100 to you. And then they can either back out of that or keep going. And if they go and keep going, then they fill in their credit card details, and PayPal handles that, so that way you don't have to touch that. And after they have made a successful payment, then it forwards the person onto what's called your download page, which is a hidden web page where they can now consume the thing they bought. So you sell a PDF reports or a collection of PDF reports. Well, now they go to a secret web page where they can then download those PDF reports. You put some videos on a web page, and the only way they can watch the videos is if they go to the sales letter, they click the payment button to buy, and they end up on that page. So it all sounds okay, it sounds simple if you've done this before, sounds complicated if you haven't done it, but if you do it just once or twice, then you'll pick it up and you'll never forget it. It's one of the easiest things to do in internet marketing once you do it, once you get past the awkward phase. But the problem that a lot of people come across is that they don't know if it's even going to work, right? Because it's like, well, okay, I go through these steps, I'm very careful, but how do I know if I missed something? Because it's my first time making a payment button. How do I know if this is going to succeed or not? And the answer is a thing called a penny test. And the reason why the marketer of the week is Miss Teresa King is because this is the person I picked it up from. And so basically, a lot of the geeks who will tell you to set up a download page or membership site will try to make things all crazy and say, well, you got to have a sandbox or some kind of techie stuff like that. And the real answer is you set up that web page the exact way you're going to make it, right? You say, here's a sales letter. And by the way, a sales letter you can see at incomemachine.com. You go to the bottom of the page, and there is the button to click and buy and get something. And we set it all up exactly as we're going to do it. But when we create the button, we set the button in our PayPal settings as a 1 cent button. So even though the web page says, get my real estate course, it's $100, there's all the things you get, click the button and buy, as you click through it, the person's only paying you 1 cent. Now, why do we do that? We do that to make sure that everything's working correctly, to do our little test. So you set it all up exactly as if you're going to push the button right now, but you make that button where someone pays you money, where they're only paying you 1 penny, if that makes sense. And then what you do is you have a friend come in and go to that web page, click the button, pay you 1 cent, and then go through that checkout process. And so you have two options of what you can do here. And in Income Machine, when you have you set up the easy one and then upgrade to the more complicated one, the easy solution is a thing called a download page. Okay, and this is something where you can even do this with no software even, but you have a secret web page. So I might have a web page at incomemachine.com/download 22222.html. No one's going to guess to type that whole big long thing in a web browser, right? So the only way someone can locate that page is by paying us the 1 cent in PayPal, and then it redirects them to incomemachine.com/download 22222.html. Okay? And the complicated way, which isn't super difficult, but the more advanced way is to create what's called a membership site. And the difference there is instead of being thrown right to a download page where they can get their PDF or get their video, now they see a form. And I once again, I hope that you've gone through this process so you understand what I'm talking about. And if not, go to incomemachine.com and buy, and you'll see the form. Basically, you go to a web page, click the button, and in this test, pay the 1 cent, and you end up in a form that usually says, "We'll complete your registration." So pick a username, enter your email address, and then type in a password, and then click the button to complete your registration. Now you click that button, and now you've been logged in, and now you can access your downloads, but now there's a link you can click saying, I want to log out of this membership site. And then if you go and check your email inbox, you've received an email saying, thanks for paying, thanks for registering, here is your username and password and the link to get back to the place where you just downloaded your stuff. So this is a little more advanced because someone creates their own special account with your membership site, and they can come back at any time to download that stuff. And guess what? If you ever add to your offer, if you ever add new bonuses or add a new coaching call or update things, then you just go in and you change it in the one spot, and they can go back and log in and retrieve the newer version of whatever, software or product or report that you've put out. Okay, so it could either be a download page or a membership site, and we show you both those options in incomemachine.com. But the point is that you set it all up and make it look all pretty and stuff, and only charge 1 penny for this afternoon, for this moment. You have a friend come in, see the sales letter, click the button, pay the penny, and then see if it all works. And the reason why I say to do this, even though it might seem real simple to you, there's been so many times when I go to buy something from someone and the download just craps out on me. It just fails. Or the download page will say, we'll wait 48 hours and then we'll contact you with a download link. I'm thinking, what? It's the 21st century. There's no reason to make me wait around and not get something instantly. Like if I go buy an app in the App Store for my phone, I get that app instantly. So why the heck can't I get this dinky little report instantly? But you'd be surprised at how many people don't even know to run this test. And so once the test is done, what do? You go back into PayPal and show you this in Income Machine and change the 1 cent to $100. And that's the only thing you change. And that way you know for sure that everything ran smoothly, you didn't touch anything, and then you just change the one thing, change your price that you're having on your sales letter from on your webpage from 1 cent to $100, and then now you know that everything's working. And guess what? If that test you ran didn't work, you're only out 1 cent. Maybe you have to go through the instructions again or see what went wrong. Sometimes, especially using the system called PayPal, you have to be careful. You have to have a couple of settings turned on in your account, and maybe you skipped over those, but you go through there again, and you're only out 1 more cent to test it. And once you're sure it's working, you bump it back to up to $100. So right there, I know that for me, that saved me tons of time, and I know that so many other marketers who were struggling, even ones that knew computer stuff, the ones that were struggling with making it all work, they didn't know about the penny test. You just have, and you know what too? If you have something that's already selling right now and you're not making any sales, and you're wondering, well, is the reason I'm not making any sales, is it because no one's finding my webpage? Or is it because people are finding my webpage and not buying, which means I need to fix something up on the sales letter and improve the conversion rate? Or maybe they're not buying because they want to buy, but then they just can't get through. So even if you've never done this, go in, and if you use PayPal, One Shopping Cart, Stripe, whatever system you're using, go in and change that $100 offer you have down to a penny. Have a friend go through the process just to see what the heck is going on there, just to make sure that they can go through without any problems. And you might notice something weird and glaring that you can fix or put on your little list to improve later and give people a better experience when they buy. And I mean, one that really ticks me off is I forget which exact membership software does this, but there's been a few where I go and I buy something, and then it says, go check your email. We just emailed you the information. And I go check my email and refresh. An hour later, I still don't have the information. There's no reason in this day and age for you to not send somebody right to either the exact download they bought or a form right on there where they can fill in the details for their new account. Okay, they bought something from you, you throw them onto a page where they can keep going. Don't make them go check their email and log back in. Don't do that. They paid you money. Give them the thing that they just now paid for. Okay? So we talked about the penny test, which means that you set the price of your payment button on your webpage to 1 cent. Have a friend try it out. Cool, it all worked. Now bring the price back up to the normal price so that it'll continue to sell normally. Now the second test I want to talk to you about is called the login test. So now what's this? Well, it means that, let's say someone paid you money and you used a membership plugin, and inside Income Machine we give you the Member Genius WordPress plugin to run your membership sites. And so they pay you money, they fill in their account, and now great, they got the download. Well, how about you go back in and pretend you're this person who just bought, and you're trying to find your download link. Maybe you went back a year later and you said, I know I bought from this guy, Robert Plank, a year ago. Let me get the latest and greatest version. Maybe I reformatted my computer, got a new computer, and I need that report again. So you go in and first of all, what path is someone going to take to find the download area again? And so if you go to incomemachine.com, well, we can say like, okay, if someone goes and checks their old emails, or someone knows that the course they bought was Income Machine, they can go to that sales letter, and there's a tiny link at the top and at the bottom, at least at the moment, where it says members log in here. So that's the first thing, is if someone goes to your sales letter, is there at least a tiny little link where if someone already bought, they can go and click and log in and get back to that members area? Well, that's a quick fix for you right there. Now, what if you went in and logged in as that user? And so this is huge, because I bought so many courses where I went back later and I just couldn't even log in. And I was like, what's going on? And it's like, I bought this thing, I downloaded all the interviews and the audios and stuff, but then I logged back in to see if there was new stuff, and I couldn't even get back into the site. So that's something too, is can you log back into your own site? And you might even do some crazy stuff like set up these things called upsells, and that's what's cool about a membership site is you can actually set things up where if someone logs back into a membership site, you have to force them to click through an ad for another one of your products. That's something you're allowed to do. You're allowed to add an upsell where someone logs into the thing they're about to get and they see a video of something else they could buy and they maybe click, sure, I'll buy that, or no, take me to the download page. So log in just to make sure that you can even get past that. So this is something else where I've logged into membership sites and they were all fancy and all excited about having an upsell, but there was literally no way to say no to the upsell. So I was trying to log back into this site that I had already paid money for, and it was trying to get me to buy something else. And I was like, okay, well, I'll look at that once I get to my download, but there was no way to click through and actually get to that thing I originally bought. So try that out. Go and log in as one of your buyers and try logging in, logging out. And there's something else too. What if you're logged in and you click the log out button? Where does it send them? Does it send them to another offer? I mean, where does it send them to log back in again? And think about that. So there's some other possible real estate for you right there. If you sell 2 products and someone logs into the membership site for product 1 and then they click log out, maybe you can throw them onto the sales letter for product 2. Or maybe if you have a Facebook fan page, maybe throw them on the Facebook and say, hey, come here and like our page, or something like that. But there's some kind of opportunity for you there for sending someone to a log out page. But if you have some kind of a log in page or a dashboard page or an upsell page, it helps for you to log in as one of your own customers to see that it all works and to make sure that you can actually decline the upsell if you just want to get to the dang download area. And then finally, the opt-in test. So I mentioned for a few minutes in the beginning of this call about the opt-in test, which means that we have a web page where someone sees a thing that you're giving away and they can enter their name and their email address and click the submit button and then get the thing that they signed up for. And in exchange, they become one of your subscribers. They can leave at any time, but then they get this free thing that you're giving away. So you might be giving away a report with 3 tips about real estate, or some real estate templates, or some real estate videos, but they sign up for this thing, and in exchange, they become one of your subscribers. So, I mean, you kind of see where I'm going with this. If you have one of your own squeeze pages or opt-in pages, we can call it, fill in some kind of details. Put a name in there, put an email address in there, and then click the button and see where it ends up. You might be thinking, well, that's kind of a waste of time. Why would I do that? Well, you'd be surprised, because the average marketer that I sign up for, and by the way, squeeze pages still do work, but the average marketer that I sign up for, here's what happens, right? So basically, there's a thing called a single opt-in and a double opt-in. Single opt-in means that I enter my name and email address, boom, that's it. I'm on the list, and I get sent to that download area, and I get the thing that I signed up for. And all my opt-in pages are single opt-in. Why? Because it's simpler. Now, the alternative is a thing called double opt-in. Now, here's how double opt-in works. You go to a web page, there's a name, you fill a name, email address, right? Click the button, expecting to get a download page, expecting to get some kind of goodie, and then it says, whoa, go check your email to confirm your subscription. So I think, okay, let me go and open up another tab, or maybe even forget. And this is where you lose a lot of people because they don't even check their email. But let's say they open their email and they go check, refresh. Finally, it comes in a few minutes later, and then it says, click the link to confirm your subscription. So this, in theory, is a good idea because it means that everyone who signed up to your email list actually did, right? Because if someone entered their name and email address, got an email at that address, and clicked to confirm, then they for sure own that email account, right? It's not like someone was giving you a bunch of fake addresses into your list. So in theory that works, except for, well, now you're expecting someone to actually care enough to open their email and wait the few minutes for the message to come in, because email is not instant, and then you're assuming that they're going to, by the time that the email comes in, they're going to remember that the email's there and they care enough to click. And I mean, if I'm getting your thing on an iPhone or something, I'm not going to do all those steps. And what's even worse is some people don't even know that they're using triple opt-in, Because, all right, let me recap here. Let me even draw a little diagram for myself. Someone goes to your landing page, opt-in page, fill in name and email address. Single opt-in means boom, they got the thing that they downloaded for free, right? Now, double opt-in means that they go to a web page, they enter their name, email address, and then the next page says check your email. So they have to go and figure out how to open their email account again, refresh it. They open the email, they click a link, and they are confirmed, and they get that download goodie. Okay, cool. Double opt-in. A few extra steps. I mean, if you think about it, that's like a 4-step process. That's okay. But some people don't know they're using a triple opt-in system. So pay close attention to this. Close attention to this, I should say, because you might be doing this and not even realizing it. Triple opt-in means that someone goes to your webpage. They fill in their first name, email address. They go to a webpage, it says, check your email to confirm your subscription. You think, all right, what a hassle. I guess I'll do it because I really want this report on how to flip real estate. So then they go to their email account. They refresh. They finally get that email and saying, here you go, click on this link to confirm. They click on the link to confirm, and then that web page says, great, you're confirmed. Now check your email to get the thing you signed up for. And I'm thinking, now we're at like 6 or 7 steps because now I have to open up my email account again, even though I just shut it down, open it up, refresh, wait 5 minutes. Finally, the email says, okay, here's the thing I'm giving you. They click on the link. Finally, I get on the dang download page. But you wouldn't realize this unless you actually acted as your own subscriber. Now, here's something else that you can do. So first of all, see if you are unknowingly a triple opt-in email marketer, because that might be why your list is so small and why you get so few signups, because no one wants to go through the whole rigmarole of fill in this, fill in that, click that, wait for that, click that again. Screw all that. That's too many steps for the average person who just now heard about you. Now, another quick thing you can do, I guess we can call this test 3A or whatever. Something else that you should do is go to your opt-in page, right? The thing where we're saying we're giving away the free real estate report, blah, 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 and enter in your first name, email address. Okay, cool. You got the download. Now go back to that opt-in page and enter in the same exact name and email address and see if it gives you an error page or if it sends you back to that opt-in page anyway. So there's been some marketers where they put a forced opt-in page in front of a sales letter, which is an okay way to build a list. It's a little out of date, but okay. And then every time I go to this guy's webpage, I had to opt in, but then it kept giving me errors because my email address was already in his database. Now think about this. If you have a huge database of email addresses of people who all voluntarily opted into your list, and someone enters their information another time, just let them on through. Don't error it out and say, wait, error, you're already on my list. And because what I have to do with this particular marketer is go back, and I kept having to enter in fake addresses just because my real address was already on his list. Not good. And then just to round this out, if you have some kind of a contact form, which you should on your blog, fill that in just to make sure that it actually gets to you, because you'd be surprised at how many marketers have something like a contact form because they knew they should have it, but it just goes nowhere, or it errors out, or you have to fill in like a code, like a CAPTCHA form to send it. Screw that. Just see if entering something in quick to your contact form actually gets to you, and maybe that's the reason why you haven't been getting as many email signups or as many messages in your contact form as you'd like. And as we're winding down this call, I want to give you 10 bonus tests. And I mean, like, keep saying, like, you don't have to feel bad if you are missing some of these tests. I'm not going to say, well, score yourself and figure out if you get a D minus. Well, just these are things where you can go back to something that you already have set up. If you don't have something set up, join us at incomemachine.com, get it set up, and then now you can go back and just refine these little things and make the system run smoothly. Now, 10 bonus tests for you, a real quick lightning round. Number 1, is your mailing address on your website? Adds legitimacy. Number 2, does your website have a contact form, such as on your blog? Number 3, what do I see when I Google your name? Is it someone else's websites or all of your websites? What do I see? Now, this is number 4. What do I see when I search your name on Amazon? 5. What do I see when I search your name on YouTube? Number 6. What do I see when I search your name on iTunes? So there's a few marketers who don't have podcasts on iTunes, and you can set up one at podcastcrusher.com. And guess what? If you're on someone else's podcast and you don't have a podcast yourself, and someone is searching your name on iTunes, guess whose podcast will show up? The other person's podcast where you were a guest. And I guess it's okay because it still promotes you, but gee, wouldn't it be great if you had 5 minutes to spare and you recorded a quick 5-minute episode and then you had something called like the Robert Plank Show or whatever your name is? So when someone searched Robert Plank or searched your name, then they could actually find a show made by you. What a concept. Number 7, do you own some form of the .com domain name of your name? Okay, so if you have a common name, maybe you have to use a middle initial or add a word at the end like realtor or marketing or something at the end of your name like robertplankmarketing.com or something. Or if the domain's taken, contact the person and say, can I get your .com name for $500? Number 8, where can I opt in on your site? Is there a page, and there should be, is there a page where I can enter my first name and email address and get something from you for free, like a quick 5-page report, a quick 10-minute video, just so I know more about you? Number 9, what of yours can I buy? Even for $5, $10, $100, is there something of yours that I can buy? And if you're an internet marketer, chances are you have this thing called resale rights, and if you don't, then type in a Google search the name of your niche or the name of something that you want to sell, followed by the word resale rights, or I guess the words resale rights. So like WordPress resale rights, to get resale rights on WordPress related info products. So that way, even if you don't know how to make videos or write stuff, at least you can buy the rights from another person, another marketer, in whatever niche you have. Like I'm sure there's stock trading resale rights. I'm sure there's real estate resale rights. I'm sure there's guitar playing resale rights. And that way you can set up a web page that may not be perfect, may not be 100% have your voice on it, but it's something that you're legally allowed to sell, and it's a way for you to make potentially your first sale if you haven't made one of those yet. And number 10, if I buy only one thing from you, what should I buy? This drives me crazy. When someone has, 5 or 10 products and they say, okay, what of yours can I buy? Oh, you could buy this, or this. Well, out of all those, what's the best thing? What's the thing that everyone needs? What's like the most low ticket thing or the most accessible thing? And they say, oh, go to my blog. No, I want to buy something. So think about that. Out of all the things you sell, what's the one thing that everyone who knows about you needs? And then let's throw in a bonus test, number 11. And I'm going to say, what's the one place that I can find your best stuff? Okay, and I'm talking about, this is probably for a blog. What if you made a page on your blog that said, here are my 5 best blog posts? Or what if you had a blog post, heck, put it on the bottom of this. Say, here's my 5 best blog posts. And underneath that, say, here are my 5 best products I sell. No one has this, or very few people do, because, there's some marketers out there that I enjoy so much, and I just want to buy something from them. And I say, okay, whatever this guy's got, I just want his best product. I go and I have to search around, Google searches, find something. I'm not sure if it's old or updated. But if you had a place on your blog saying, here's the best stuff I have to say if you don't know me yet, here's the best stuff I have to sell if you don't know me yet, what could it hurt just to link to something that someone could buy? Couldn't hurt you at all. The worst that could happen is that you're still in the same place you're now. So, I guess that's 14 tests for your total. The 3 biggies are the penny test, login test, and opt-in test. And then we give you 10 bonus tests for a mailing address, contact form, Google, Amazon, YouTube, iTunes.com, opt-in page, sales letter, and then what one thing of yours should I buy, and where can I find your best stuff? Best videos, webinar pitches, blog posts, and things for sale. I'm Robert Plank, and run that penny test on your site. Log in to your membership site and see what happens. Opt in to your own opt-in page to see if it all works, and if you're unknowingly a triple opt-in marketer when you should in fact be a single opt-in marketer. re-opt in to your list using an address that's already on there just to see what happens, because I mean, technology is great, but if you don't have all the settings set just right, then it's going to leave you frustrated. So it doesn't take too much. It's not a ton of work to just get a few things in place, especially if you put something up sloppily, which I recommend anything up sloppily, because that way you've made some progress and go back and correct it. The best way to get that whole system in place in under 3 days is at incomemachine.com. So join us in there at incomemachine.com, incomemachine.com. I'll see you in there. I'm Robert Plank from The Robert Plank Show. Thanks for tuning in, and thank you.